First, a quick introduction. For those of you who I don't know, my name is Brett Perkins, and I'm an alumnus of Temple, 1991. Some folks here, now think that that's young or old. I'm not sure what it is. I'm a former student athlete. I'm the husband of an owl and the son of owls as well. And I happen to be a trustee of the university. In my day job, I work here at Comcast across the street. And on behalf of all of my Comcast colleagues, we want to welcome you to our home. And I want to just get a show of hands for the Comcast Temple alumni who are in the room. Please raise your hand. Yeah, don't be shy. I see, act like you're Temple people. Yes, thank you. All right, yes, please. Well, when did we get shy? Goodness gracious. And I'd also like to acknowledge two of my board colleagues who I know are in the room. Senator Tina Tartaglione, who is sitting here in front. Tina, the senator is one of the greatest friends that Temple has in Harrisburg. She's a trustee, but someone who always is looking out for our interests, so we appreciate everything you do. And Mike Reed, who is sitting 2 rows behind her. Mike is another trustee. So I'm super proud and happy to be here to introduce some of you and reintroduce others of you to Temple's 15th president, who started with us on the 1st, right, of November. And President Fry is, for those of us who know him, is a proven leader in education, even more so, at least for the things that I think we all care about, somebody who understands the mission of Temple. He is a community builder, and we're going to have a great conversation here. So as someone who loves Temple dearly, I can tell you from my heart that I've been so thrilled in every single one of the conversations that I've had with our new president for the future of our university. I'll close with something, but I'm going to start so you think about it. So many people in this room are longtime dedicated people to our alma mater. I'm a transplant originally. I spent my whole entire adult life here. Many of the folks that I see here are people who served in alumni capacities, and we believe in this place no matter what. One of the best things to have is a leader who you can believe in as well. And so one of the fun things for me right now is just getting to dream about all of what Temple could be. And so we're going to have a conversation. Let's dig into it if you don't mind. I got a handful of questions here for our new president. And before we get into the substance, I mean, many of us know you well, but for those who don't, maybe you could tell us a little something about yourself. And I know how important family is to you. Maybe spend a little time talking about your family as well.
Sure. Well, and if I can first, I just want to start by expressing gratitude, to Bret, to Brian Roberts, to all the people at Comcast who are Temple made, over 500 as I understand it, and to all of our Temple alums and friends who are here this evening. You had a whole bunch of different choices of what you could have done this evening. It's so good to have you here. And Tina and Mike, one of the things that I know I'm going to benefit as Temple's president is the brain trust of my board of trustees. There's also a bunch of people here who work at the university who have welcomed me so warmly. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here this evening. And Bret, especially, thanks for pulling this all together. So thanks. I'm not gonna sort of dwell on your first question too much, but there are sort of 3 big things that are happening, for the Fries right now. Thing number 1 is a new baby, 8 months old, our first grandchild, who is, maybe a future owl, and she's a real cutie, and she's coming down on Saturday from Maine with her mom and dad, and we get to have them for the whole week. So for those of you who are grandparents, you know what that means. So we're very, very excited. Mia is our oldest. We have 2 others, Nat, who's a woodworker, and Phoebe, who is our sort of cool kid. She plays. She's a model. She plays bass guitar in a band, and she's a videographer. So those are my 3. And my wife Karen and I have been married 37 years, and we are super blessed. So that's number 1. Number 2, we just moved. We just actually stayed in our new house last Saturday for the first time. And number three, we have this great new job. So everything feels new, and I feel like a little kid again, starting over, which at age 64, it's actually good to be starting over because I wake up every morning slightly scared, ready to learn, and so many people are helping me along the way. And so that's sort of us. And again, couldn't be more happy to be starting my new job. And 3 weeks into it, we'll talk about that. But that's me.
Yes, 3 weeks. So, I mean, the folks in this room, we obviously all think that Temple is a special place. But give us a little bit of the rationale for you. Why make this move and come to Temple to be our 15th president?
Yeah. So, in sort of like thinking about that question, and I'd call it the sort of 4 Ps. Number one is purpose, and we all want to be called to something. We all want to do something that has an impact well beyond just having a job. We want to move the needle in a positive way in society, and the purpose of this university is about as magnificent a purpose as I could think of any institution in our city. I mean, think about our founding, Acres of Diamonds. Think about our mission of access and excellence. Think about the lives that our faculty and staff help transform in terms of our students. Think about the civic impact of this institution. And I've been wandering around this university for about 3 weeks, and the thing that has struck me the most in every single conversation I've had with people, hundreds now, there's one thing that they can articulate and agree on and feel fierce about, and that is the mission and the purpose of this university. And I've been around higher ed for a long time, and oftentimes people can't really sort of express in a sincere and poignant way what the institution is about. That's not our problem here. We know exactly who we are at Temple, why we're here, and what we need to do. So purpose is great, and people are united around it. People have been fantastic. And, universities are notoriously contentious places, and I'm sure I'll see my share of disagreements at Temple going forward. But underlying all of that is this sense of collegiality and loyalty and sort of devotion to one another. And that is palpable. You can't make that up. And I've been around for a while, and when things are being faked, I know. And this is something that is very, very genuine. So we have great purpose, and we have great people, and we have problems. So that's the 3rd P. There are plenty of problems. I can talk about those problems. Higher ed has a lot of problems in general, but Temple has its own specific problems. But I like these problems. These are problems I've worked on at other institutions. And if there were no challenges and no problems and no opportunities, then what is this all for? So I felt called, I think, to some of the challenges around public safety and around enrollment and around ways in which you can lift an institution up that has seen a lot of transition. So I like your problems. I'm ready to dive into them. And then the 4th P is Philly. I mean, Philly is... Right. I'm a New York transplant. I grew up in Brooklyn and Queens, and it's okay. I know. Thank you. Shouldn't have said anything, right? But this place is our home. It's been our home since 1995. We've raised our children here, and we feel so lucky to be part of Philly. And I feel like in what will probably be my last significant job, I want to do something beyond what I've already been able to help out with in Philly. And it feels to me like Temple, with this amazing university, this incredible health system, is something that I'm ready to devote myself to. So it's the 4 Ps. I feel called. I feel ready. I know it's going to be really super challenging, but I like our problems and I like our opportunities.
Great. Well, you're 3 weeks into that discovery. So do you have any early thoughts, any priorities that you've identified?
Yeah, I'd say I have 5. Job number 1 is safety on campus and safety in our neighborhoods. My very first meeting on November 1st at 9 o'clock was to go down to public safety, meet the officers and the security guards, and talk to them about the fact that what they do is really a cornerstone of our institution. And when you think about universities, you think about teaching, research, and service, but underlying all of that is a sense of safety and order, and a place where you can work without distraction. And if people feel like they're not safe, and I spent a lot of my time in West Philly over the last 25 years, and those were challenging years, particularly in the 90s and early 2000s, it's really, really important to create an environment that is safe, that is clean, that is ordered, and that shares in common a passion and a commitment to the neighborhood. So that to me is priority number one. Priority number two is enrollment. We're at 39,700 in 2017. We're a little over 30,000 right now. That is not a good trend. I mean, that's a 25% decrease. Now, good news here is that this year, this freshman class, 4,900 kids, which is like a 31% increase over the previous year. So that is a massive step in the right direction, particularly given all the disruption around federal financial aid, which I won't treat you to, but a lot of institutions really sort of got knocked down as a result of all the difficulty with the Department of Education processing financial aid. I mean, Temple really soared. Another like 2,000 transfers. I mean, they crushed it. They absolutely crushed it. And while I'm looking at still early numbers for inquiries and applications right now, this coming year feels like it's going to be even better than that. So we're coming back. We're on the way back, but we got a long way to go. And one of the things I'm going to emphasize too is ways in which we can grow enrollment online, because we don't have much of an online presence. We need to build back international enrollments. We need to think about other branches where we can bring Temple to the various communities who may not want to be in the city, but still would prize and value a Temple education. So that's number two. Number three is investing in academic excellence. We are one of 120 universities in the country that is a Carnegie R1, Research 1 university. That is a brass ring. Only 120 of us, about 80 public, 40 private. And it's a distinction for basically the most research-intensive institutions, which also tend to attract the most competitive students. So being an R1 is a super big deal. A book of research of about $300 million, innovations and breakthroughs all over the place. This is an outstanding place, but we got to feed it. We got to invest in faculty. We got to invest in classrooms and laboratories. We got to make sure our students are set up for success. So that would be my third priority. My fourth priority is this magnificent health system, $3.5 billion. I took a tour of it last Friday, and rarely have I ever been so proud to be associated with an institution. And I've been associated with some incredible institutions, but that health system, what it is doing to save lives and change lives, whether it's the main hospital or Episcopal or New Women's and Babies Hospital or Fox Chase. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to get to Chestnut Hill, but I will visit there as well. You see this health system and you realize that the impact of Temple, is so far beyond the university into the area of health. And then the fifth priority would be to take a look at where we sit on North Broad, where the health system sits about 1.5 miles up. That's a lot of territory in between. And how do we connect our two institutions along what I would envision as like a health and technology corridor, much like in concept we've done over in West Philadelphia with Schuylkill Yards. So those are the five things.
Great. Love to hear it. Right. And so it's a good segue. One of the things that those of us here at Comcast who have worked with you know is whether it was your time at Penn or F&M or at Drexel. And at Drexel, you really created what I think a lot of us would believe is a great model for public-private partnerships. And I'm curious in how you think that work and those models could translate to Temple.
Yeah, so I think it will perfectly because of what I just said. I mean, Temple would be a prize partner by any developer, any other research or corporate institution because of all of its assets, all of its excellence, all of its people. So I don't think there's going to be any problem for us developing good public-private partnerships. And I tend to think about these things maybe a little bit geographically. When I think about one partnership, the partnership between our university and our health system, I can see significant development on North Broad, looking at attracting other companies, places for our faculty spinoffs to land. We have something called iNest by the way. So if you want a proof of concept, iNest is basically an incubator for spinning off ideas that our faculty and students are actually working on in their labs and in their departments, and allowing company formation. So we actually have about 9,000 square feet up on North Broad. We have 6 companies that have leases right now. It's a beehive of activity. That's a proof of concept. That's a partnership, public and private. So I think we have this public-private partnership between the 2 institutions on North Broad. And then if you look down towards Center City, I think there's also a way that Temple can really sort of impact that corridor, anchored by the North Broad Renaissance, which is a business improvement district, which we're about to join. So we're looking forward to connecting with all the businesses and arts organizations that are south of us, all the way down into Center City. And I think that could be another public-private partnership. So Broad Street itself, I think, represents incredible territory for us to sort of expand and develop, and to bring developers and other companies and other institutions together. And again, I think they'll be super attracted, Brett, to us because of what our faculty and what our students do.
It definitely is exciting for many of us who traverse Broad Street and have seen that opportunity. So in your introductory video to the Temple community, you talked a little bit about engaging with alumni. And we have a room full of alumni
Pretty
tonight.
good.
So
pretty good start here.
Good start tonight.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
A packed house. Yeah. So what's your message to our alumni?
Well, we have 370,000 owls, believe it or not. 370,000 owls, globally. That's quite a flock, right? So you guys you're here. What you're doing with your lives and in your communities is so amazing. And what we need to do is to convene you like tonight in ways in which we can just be together to enjoy each other's company and have good fellowship, but also I think to sort of show to you the kind of work that we're doing at our institution, which I'm really so proud of. And so I think number one is going to be leveraging this sort of incredible network of owls. I think a second thing, our students really need as much network as you can provide them. I mean, this is a challenging time in our country. It's a challenging economy. All of you are successful, doing really important things. Give one of these kids a chance. Give them an internship. Give them some career advice. We can do a better job, I think, of connecting everyone together. And then, to me, the thing I'm really very excited about that we have to start thinking about now, in 10 years, this university is going to be 150 years old. Think about that. What an incredible moment. 150 years ago since Conwell started tutoring those kids at Temple. I mean, that is something to really celebrate. So we got 10 years to plan and execute a large campaign. Yes, of course, because we want to raise money and we want to sort of feed this university in the way in which it deserves to be, but also because we really stand for something that's endured the test of time. And so I want to gather everyone together around that 150th to celebrate, but also to make it possible for the next 150 to start off in a strong way. And we have that in us. And so I hope I can call all of you to that celebration. So.
That's great. You've got experience with Division I athletics. This will be the first time leading a university that has Division I football. Give us, your thoughts on athletics and the role that they should play at a university.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just by way of personal background, I have a huge amount of passion for athletics. 2 of my 3 children were student athletes, and so I sort of watched them grow up in an environment where they were on teams, and the mammoth amount of hard work that they had to put into their sports and what it took and how it impacted them. So I have really profound sort of personal lessons that I've seen in terms of how student athletes grow and develop during their time at institutions like Temple. I've also chaired Division III. I've also chaired my conference, the Coastal Athletic Association, when I was over at Drexel. And I also was the chair of U.S. Squash, which is the national governing body for squash. So I've had a lot of opportunities to try to give back to intercollegiate athletics and professional sports. And I think that when I think of Temple athletics as a snapshot, there's sort of 3 things that come to mind. One, and honestly the most important, especially in this time in intercollegiate athletics in America right now, is that our student athletes are excellent students. So our graduation success rate, the GSR, is 94%, which puts us number 20 in America among major universities. And you can't go anywhere right now without reading about the professionalization of sports and name, image, and likeness and everything else. But the fact is, these people, first and foremost, are students who need to have a great academic experience. And maybe a very few of them are going to go off and become professional athletes. But for the most part, they're going to take their place in society. And so the fact that they are graduating at that rate, doing so well academically, is something that should give you great comfort. We have our heads screwed on plenty straight at Temple when it comes to putting our priorities together. Number two, it is one of the best community building activities that you can ever see. So we went to our first football game last Saturday, and Kara was with me, my wife, and at one point she turned around to me. We were on the field, and the players were out, and cheerleaders were coming by, and the band was marching, and she said, "People are having so much fun here. It's just like, look at these faces. They're having so much fun." There was just a sense of joyousness. And there were so many different Temple students participating beyond the football team. And it was a great community building type of environment. And number three, we have a winning tradition. When you take a look at the arc of Temple athletics, this year our men's basketball team, I can't tell you what day, will register its 2,000th win, which is only the 7th team in the history of intercollegiate basketball, men's basketball, to achieve 2,000 wins. That is a tradition of incredible excellence. So I think about academic excellence, I think about community building, and I think about success on the field or court, and I think we're right there. Now, do we want to achieve more? Absolutely. Do we need to invest to achieve? We certainly do, but we have a really strong base, and we have great, smart kids who are just having the time of their lives as student athletes. And, I don't have to tell you, you experienced it directly.
Yeah, no, I have, and I've been impressed. We've last year brought a group of 50 student athletes through. They did a tour, just super smart kids who happen to be athletes, which is what we want.
Yep.
All right, so let's bring this to a close, but I'm gonna, ask in the closing to look ahead. So what does success look like? What's 5-10 years? What do you wish for?
I wish for, first, that when people say Temple, they think of all the things I talked about tonight, and they don't think about public safety anymore. They think about a safe and clean neighborhood that's really doing well and is lifting all boats. So that's number one. Number two, I would like that 30,000 to at least be 35,000, heading back to where it used to be. I do believe we should give the gift of a Temple education to as many people as we can. 35,000 better than 30, 40 even better than 35. So I want to see sort of growth in enrollment. Number three, I want to see significant investments in this R1 institution to the point that we can absolutely say and demonstrate that Temple University is one of the handful of the great public urban research universities in the country, and we have the numbers to prove it. And we certainly know we have the mission, but now we need to back that up with the success. Number four, I would love to take you up and down Broad Street and show you our innovation corridor, whether it's devoted to health and tech or it's around, the arts and sciences. And then the last thing is that I would love to be all sitting in a room with you in 10 years, celebrating the achievement of this major campaign that raised more than $1 billion and honored the legacy of this great university. Yeah, so that's what I want to do.
Well, I will end where I started, which is expressing the excitement that I have. But I think as you hear, this is also an invitation to all of us as alumni to answer the call. Many, maybe most of you in this room have done that. I see lots of familiar faces and people who have been in the trenches, people who work at the university, who happen to be alumni that come back. And so we'll close with a go Owls, but more importantly, cheers to the future, Temple made, and when the phone rings, please answer it. We're going to make some great stone soup up in North Philadelphia. We've got a lot of great years ahead, 10 years to do a lot of work. President John Fry, thank you so much for being with us today.